Today's compilation is going to mess with your mind. Because you're about to see bizarre phenomena, strange reality glitches, and mind-boggling moments caught on camera. These unexplainable clips will freak you out. This video is about as mysterious as it can get. It showed a man hovering nearly a foot above the surface of the water. He moved forward like he was floating through the air. The strangest part is how there's no visible gear, jetpack, or harness supporting his weight. Some said if he was using wires, then his posture wouldn't look this relaxed. This video looks too old to be AI, and the lack of information makes it more mysterious. So do you think this is real? Bright orb.
Sparkling stuff. What is that?
On February 16th, 2026, residents in Florida saw a bright blue ball of light appear out of nowhere. It was intense enough to light up the entire neighborhood. The object moved erratically, zipping in all directions in an unpredictable way. After a few minutes, it began flashing and released smoke. Then it suddenly shot straight up to the sky and disappeared. But what was it exactly? It wasn't a drone, and definitely not a natural phenomenon. Mysterious cat gathering. A man in Millsboro, Delaware, captured a really bizarre moment outside his apartment. Dozens of cats had gathered in a perfect circle around a manhole. They kept walking in that circle for 2 hours, like they were in a trance. He was so disturbed that he decided to check again the next day. And just before dawn, the cats assembled there once more. They stood still for 3 hours before scattering. This is not how cats behave. So what do you think happened here? Stuck mid-laugh. Watch this casual hangout take a seriously disturbing turn. Two friends were having fun over dinner when one suddenly froze mid-laugh. Her face stayed locked in a wide, unnatural smile, making her look like something else had taken control of her. Even as her friend called her name, she remained unresponsive for several seconds that felt like an eternity before finally snapping out of it.
Fika. Fika.
To this day, they still don't know what had gotten into her. Glitching cats. This video proves that something strange is happening to animals. First, we see birds frozen midair. Now, in South Korea, people noticed a cat stuck in the middle of the street. Many confused people gathered around it as the cat remained completely unresponsive. Usually, cats act like this when they enter a hunting state and lock onto their prey with laser focus. But there was no prey here, and when another cat approached, it froze the same way. It seems like something is messing with our planet's programming. Iridescent glitch. One night, as a man was closing his warehouse, this strange form stopped him in his tracks. It had materialized from thin air and was shimmering in multiple colors. It kept changing form constantly, and the shadow it cast on the ground proved this unbelievable sight was real. It looked like a glitch in reality, and he had just caught it happening. It stayed for 20 minutes before vanishing. Raining glitch. I think our planet needs a reboot. In October last year, thick clouds appeared over Paris, but it was only raining in one small spot. Passers-by looked up to check if another source above the road was causing it, but the water was definitely coming from the clouds. Even on the road, only that patch was wet, and the surrounding area remained completely dry. Really strange indeed. Erratic orb.
Oh, what the? Wait a minute.
You might see a lot of crazy things in parking lots, but nothing quite like this. A man had just walked out of a store when a bright ball of light materialized in front of him. It was made of electricity and was constantly changing its shape. After it mysteriously disappeared, the cameraman uploaded this video on Instagram to get answers. But shockingly, people from different states shared similar clips. One recorded a similar orb on his farm, and another one was caught on a doorbell camera. So these sightings remain unexplained.
What in the... I'm recording it.
Frozen midair. The following video shows a strange moment when an airplane seemed completely still in the air. People in Portugal were confused, trying to understand how it looked frozen in mid-flight. It felt like a real glitch in the Matrix, because it goes against everything we know about how planes are supposed to fly. Normally, airplanes can appear slow or motionless when they're very far away, due to a natural phenomenon called motion parallax. But this one looked far too close for that. So how was this possible? Let me know in the comments. Glowing sky ring. At exactly 9:45 p.m. on the 6th of February 2025, an unbelievable sight caused panic in Mumbai, India. During a thunderstorm, this bright ring of light appeared in the sky. It began descending at a shocking speed, but before it could reach the ground, it mysteriously vanished. Weather experts tried explaining it as a rare atmospheric event, but many conspiracy theorists believe that the thick trail of dark smoke behind it could have only been caused by a spacecraft's engine. Despite logical answers from both sides, there's no clear answer yet. Frozen bird. When a man in Ohio stepped out for groceries, he noticed a bird suspended mid-air in the strangest way. To stay in control during strong winds, birds often look suspended as they hold their position until it is safe to fly forward. But this wasn't that case, since there was no wind at all. The trees in the video were completely still, and the bird's wings weren't struggling against anything. Then, after a few seconds, it snapped out of its frozen state and flew away. Twin suns. People in Saudi Arabia were left stunned when they saw the impossible happening right before their eyes. There seemed to be two suns in the sky. This moment took place in January of this year at sunset. Everyone gathered outdoors to record it. After both suns set, this video went viral, and experts said this must be parhelia, a natural phenomenon in which bright spots appear on the sides of the sun. But this didn't really look like that. People in the country thought this was a sign of the end of times. Car change. A man in Arlington, Texas recorded a confusing moment that will seriously mess with your mind. There was a red car in the parking lot, but when he moved his camera, the reflection from his porch window revealed a white car. It looked like the same car was changing colors from red to white. Even the logo and number plate seemed to switch as the angle changed. One possible explanation is that the reflection belonged to a different white car parked somewhere nearby, and the perfect alignment was just a rare coincidence. But the man did not reveal if that white car was even there. Great Sphinx doorway. While exploring Egypt, a man obsessed with its ancient mysteries came across an opening on the side of the Great Sphinx of Giza. He was itching to see what was inside, but a red laser guarding the doorway stopped him. He believed it was part of high-tech security, but what could be hidden there? For all we know, there could be valuable ancient artifacts, or knowledge the government has secured using modern technology. But how come we're just finding out about this opening in this historic structure? Invisible ghost? You're about to see one of the strangest TikTok videos. A woman can be seen throwing a ball across the room, but instead of falling, it stayed suspended in front of her. It even seemed to rise slightly before shooting back in the opposite direction at shocking speed. It looked as if an invisible entity was standing in front of her and had thrown the ball. Some viewers believe it could be clever editing, but many others say the ball's shadow on the wall and the woman's reaction look completely genuine. Mysterious night sky. In March 2025, the sky above Texas turned into a strange sight. Around 10 p.m., a familiar shape was seen in the sky and its boundaries had an orange glow. This was clearly not a usual sight. A glowing square in the sky is absurd. The sighting was seen across different cities and lasted for a few hours as well. These people didn't know if it was a rare phenomenon or some kind of massive object hidden in the clouds. Till today, no one has been able to explain it, but if you have any ideas, do share them in the comments below.
Почему? Откуда?
Swinging entity. While taking a midnight stroll, a man in Spain walked past a building that was rumored to be haunted. As he looked up, he noticed a woman sitting on a swing hanging from a high balcony. From his angle, she did not even seem to have a face. He began recording out of fear. That specific apartment had been empty and locked for years after a woman passed away there. Within seconds, both the figure and the swing blinked out of sight. This made him scream and ran out of there. Mysterious skyline. What would you do if the sky above you suddenly lit up in the strangest way? Well, people on a boat near Vancouver, Canada stared in shock when a bright horizontal line appeared above them. It glowed below the clouds and moved across the cloudy sky. It didn't make a sound and vanished after a few seconds. Although strange lights can be explained as power flashes from transformer failures, meteors, falling space debris, even lightning, none of those events look anything like this. Comment your theories down below, and while you doing that, like this video and subscribe. Entrance to Underworld. Hoia Baciu Forest in Romania is known for ghost sightings and unsolved disappearances. But now there's something unexplainable on the list. One hiker found a strange opening in the ground with a bright orange glow deep inside, and he could feel intense heat rising from it. Since there were a lot of electromagnetic fluctuations in this exact spot, he thought this mysterious opening was responsible for that too. Viewers believe he might have discovered an entrance to the underworld, but he hasn't shared another video of it. Angel of Light. On July 29th, 2025, a visitor inside a Catholic church came across a brightly glowing white figure. It had no visible facial features and was kneeling before the altar. As he began recording to confirm it wasn't a hallucination, the figure straightened and turned toward him. He believed it might be an angel, which overwhelmed him. After a few minutes, he quietly walked out, and this mysterious entity didn't follow him. Plastic snow.
Oh.
Yeah, it's burning.
Look at that.
Over the past few years, the snowfalls across different U.S. states have been freaking people out. People have noticed that the snow has looked and felt different, almost artificial. Many of them even tried heating them up with lighters, but instead of dripping, the snow would turn black like plastic. These clips have created conspiracy theories that the government has engineered the weather, and the snow isn't real anymore. Although many investigators said this was caused by trapped air in real snow and soot from the lighter flame, people aren't convinced.
Smells like plastic, doesn't melt.
Giza's orbs. The Great Pyramid of Giza has always been a topic of conspiracy theories, but takes the mystery to a whole new level. A man driving past the pyramid recorded 3 glowing white orbs hovering directly above it. From this angle, it was impossible to tell if they had emerged from a source behind the pyramid or descended from the sky. The 2 larger orbs moved in perfect sync with each other, as if they were coordinated craft communicating with each other. The man drove away before he could record more, but I believe they might have come from outer space to unlock Giza's secrets. Terry water. After checking into a cheap hotel in Transylvania, a man went to clean up and noticed something terrifying about the tap water. It was pitch black and thick, just like tar. Although minerals like manganese or iron can darken water, this was far too dark to be natural. He showed the recording to hotel management, but they dismissed it and said it only happens once or twice a day and usually clears in minutes. But since he was unsettled to his core, he didn't wait to confirm if it was tar or something far worse. Secret transportation. 3 friends in Flagstaff, Arizona saw a shockingly new yet terrifying sight on New Year's Eve. When the entire neighborhood was away for celebration at a park, these friends had stayed behind and ended up seeing a train appear with strange containers behind it. The bright blue containers revealed silhouettes of massive, alienoid creatures inside them. Their shapes were really disturbing. If the friends hadn't stayed, there wouldn't have been anyone to witness it, which meant someone had intended to secretly transport these creatures while the entire neighborhood was empty. Suspicious flying object. This was definitely not an ordinary day for people in Medellin, Colombia. Around 1 p.m. on the 5th of February, 2026, people saw a mysterious object hovering above the city. It had a strange geometric shape with sharp, star-like points. What unsettled them most was that no ordinary man-made drone or spacecraft looked like this. According to modern physics, its design wouldn't allow proper aerodynamics and propulsion principles. The object hovered for 20 minutes as if to observe the people below before flying away. Honestly, only alien tech could be this advanced. Mimicking Skinwalker. In California, a man had been walking home when he saw a creature that looked like a dog, but something was really off. It had a strange posture along with really creepy expressions, and it kept letting out long meowing sounds like a distressed cat. When he approached, the creature suddenly charged at him, and he was lucky to have escaped since dogs don't meow. This meant it could have been a mimicking skinwalker trying to lure and trap people who thought there was a distressed cat in need of help. Terrifying entity. Here's one of the creepiest reasons not to step out after dark. A man in Ipoh, Malaysia was taking out the trash at night when he spotted an entity kneeling across the street. It was repeatedly banging its fists on the ground for unknown reasons. Despite knowing better, he slowly walked closer to record it, and the entity looked up and locked its sight on him. Realizing his mistake, he tried to back away, but the entity suddenly stood and appeared right beside him. He stayed as calm as possible and stopped recording until it eventually disappeared on its own.
I didn't do anything.
2 moons. Last year, people in Chicago saw something impossible. There appeared to be 2 moons in the sky. One of them was bigger and brighter, while the other one looked faint. And guess what? Within that same month, people across America also saw similar sights in their cities. Even experts were confused about how this could happen, and they rushed to explain it as an optical illusion. But that explanation just seems too convenient and dismissive. Doorbell cam ghost? This might be the creepiest thing ever caught on a doorbell camera. A homeowner in Jacksonville, Florida shared the footage on Reddit, explaining that they'd received a motion in the middle of the night. They checked and saw this terrifying shape at their front door. It was smoke-like, humanoid in form, and stayed perfectly still for several moments. Then it shifted shape and floated downward before vanishing completely. It definitely didn't look like a bug or lens flare, so this could have been a ghost. Mysterious band of light.
What is this?
If rainbows are supposed to appear in arcs, then what is this? On July 28, 2024, residents in Salem, Massachusetts spotted a bright strip of light in the sky. It stretched from one horizon but faded before reaching the other, and it had rainbow colors. The strange part is that it hadn't rained that day, and the light was a perfectly straight band. Unlike an ordinary rainbow, it stayed there for nearly 3 hours. Have you ever seen anything like this before? Haunted Park. Who thought an ordinary park could get so terrifying? In Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, a man was walking to the park in his neighborhood past midnight to get some fresh air and noticed the swings moving. They were fiercely moving back and forth, even though there were no strong winds that night. Even in the video, you'll see that none of the trees were moving at all. This left him with only one explanation: that there were ghosts on the swings. After that terrifying realization, his sense of preservation kicked in, and he stopped recording to rush back home. Terrifying shadow. A man in Warren, Ohio stepped out for a walk because he couldn't sleep, but what he saw kept him awake for nights after that. On the wall behind a bench, there was a shadow of a person sitting on it, but to his horror, the bench was empty. He began recording to check if the lack of sleep was messing with his mind, but that only made things worse. Realizing he might be looking at a supernatural entity, he rushed back to his home with his heart racing. Floating tree. I've watched this video many times and still can't make sense of it. Maybe you will. It shows a broken piece of a tree hovering several feet above the ground and moving smoothly through the air. There were no strings or wind that could explain its mysterious flotation. It seemed to defy gravity itself, and even broke the law of inertia, because there was no visible force acting on it. As this video has been reshared multiple times across social media, viewers believe that the very rules of our universe were acting up at this moment. Frozen in time. A man named David Johnson had been going to work when he noticed this woman in the distance, and to his surprise, she was stuck in one spot. It seemed like she had been walking and suddenly froze in time. What makes it even creepier was that even her ponytail was suspended mid-swing, as if the wind and gravity wasn't affecting it at all. After those few strange seconds, she unfroze and walked away as if nothing strange had happened. Hovering tow plane.
Alright, everybody sees me walking. I'm walking.
Residents of Anchorage, Alaska were baffled when a plane appeared to hover right above them. It was a towing plane with a banner behind it. Normally, these planes must maintain a slow, precise speed to keep the banner unfurled. But in this case, strong headwinds may have created the illusion of hovering. If the plane's forward speed perfectly matches the wind speed, its movement over the ground cancels out. As a result, you get this strange hovering effect. So, this is possible physics at play.
Is it moving?
Humanoid in clouds.
Oh my god.
Critics are divided over the authenticity of this video because it's that strange. Someone in Miami allegedly recorded a humanoid shape high in the clouds at dawn. It was dark, with a cape draping behind it as it walked among the clouds before eventually disappearing from sight. After sharing the video, the person claimed it was a real divine entity and could only be seen by a few lucky people once in their lives. While some viewers believed him, others weren't sure if he was telling the truth. Which side are you on? Gigantic roach.
I need to hurry up and get out of God.
You must have heard the popular slogan that everything is bigger in Texas. Well, this video might prove that. She'd walked out of a store and saw this creature under a car. Judging by its antenna and legs, it looked like an unbelievable huge roach that had been flipped on its back. The woman kept freaking out since roaches aren't supposed to get this big, at least not on this planet. She was lucky it hadn't been under her car.
Look at what's coming out from...
Petrified giant. While driving toward Wadi Rum in Jordan, Petra, which is a World Heritage Site, a tourist saw something even more shocking than the destination. Among the rocks, there seemed to be a humanoid shape sitting with its face turned toward the road. It reminded him of stories about giants that were said to live thousands of years ago, and he wondered if this could be one of them that was somehow petrified over time. Kitchen poltergeist. On the 25th of August, 2025, this woman returned from the store and found her kitchen in complete chaos. Objects from the counters and shelves were falling all at once and shattering. It seemed like a poltergeist had become active while she was away. She stood there trying to process the scene. She'd moved in only 2 weeks earlier and was just discovering that this new house might be haunted. Sky Shadow. In January of last year, a woman from Dallas made a shocking and confusing observation. She'd heard a rumbling sound coming from a tree in her backyard and pointed a flashlight at it. That's when the beam of light created a shadow of a tree in the sky above. I know what you're thinking. Shadows can only be cast on a solid surface like a wall. So how can it appear in the sky? Could this mean the sky was really an engineer dome or a solid screen like some conspiracy theorists believe? Twin fireballs. Last year in Dubai, 2 mysterious fireballs appeared in the sky at exactly midnight. They weren't meteorites or space debris as they normally fall downward, leaving glowing streaks behind them. Instead, these fireballs circled each other and moved in perfect synchronization, almost like spacecraft, trailing small wisps of smoke. They stayed for nearly 10 minutes before suddenly blinking out completely. To this day, experts haven't given any explanation for this event. Stuck mid-walk. In West Yorkshire, England, a man driving home from a cafe recorded one of the strangest sights ever. Right across the street, there was a person who appeared completely frozen in one spot. What made it creepier was the posture, because the man seemed to have been walking normally, but had frozen just before lifting his foot off the ground. And it's very easy to wobble in that stance. Even as the driver stopped recording and continued on his way, the person hadn't moved an inch. Even those under the influence of illegal substances do not act this way. Haunted cycle. Just imagine the horror this man must have felt finding his daughter's tricycle like this. After searching his home for it, he stepped outside to check, thinking someone had stolen it, and instead found it moving on its own on the street. It wasn't caused by the wind, and even the pedals were turning by themselves, as if a ghost were actually riding it. He only dared approach once it had stopped moving, and threw it away right after, since he didn't want his daughter anywhere near it. Trapped face. These 2 friends decided to walk deep into the woods near their neighborhood, thinking it would just be adventurous. And guess what? On one of the trees, they found a bark with a human-like face on it. What made it even stranger was how the bark was protruding outward, almost as if the face was trying to push its way out of the trunk. Now it could be a strange natural formation, but that doesn't make it any less unsettling. Creepy behavior. As a passenger was looking out the window of his bus, he captured this woman behaving really oddly. She kept clicking the photo, but her repetitive motion turned this simple action creepy. Look closely. Her face was stuck in an unsettling expression. Her body was frozen in one place, and only one hand kept moving the camera back and forth. She did not stop that robotic and unnatural behavior, even as the bus began to move. It was as if she'd been in some kind of a trance. Stone face. Back in 2017, a man driving through Uinta Mountains in Utah noticed something strange carved into the rock. Inside a dark opening, it looked as if a giant stone face was staring straight out at him. The sight deeply unsettled him because it looked like a petrified giant, After he shared the footage online, experts explained it as pareidolia, a psychological effect that makes people see familiar shapes in random patterns. Still, the resemblance to a human face was really unsettling. Now it's time for the most unexplainable clip of today. These confusing videos will make you question reality. In Puebla, Mexico, a passenger recorded a car floating from the window of his bus. It went right over heavy traffic, and no, it wasn't tangled in power lines because you can clearly see it moving forward freely. After he posted the video, more people from Mexico began sharing similar clips, all of them showing cars zooming past them in midair. This sighting was very shocking. Viewers are not too sure about the flying cars, as they could be crafts in the shape of a car, or drones with cardboard cutouts, but the one in traffic is very difficult to explain. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and as always, thank you for watching.